All right, and that worked out perfectly. As usual, minor technical difficulties to start the show. We're getting used to it around here. We're gonna make a goal this week to try and start by 8 o'clock every day. We're at what 8:03 Central Daylight Time. Welcome. It is Monday, March 30th, 2020. This is episode. What are we on here? Episode 14 of Co-Video Live TV, and I've neglected to do this at the beginning of the show. So I gotta get a quick temporal scan, get the temperature for the safety of my guests, 98.7. So tenth of a degree off of what I'd consider normal. We'll consult with our first guest to make sure that that's accurate and safe. All right. So without any further ado, I told you we'd be cycling back and getting a hold of guests that we had spoken to. So it's been a couple weeks since we talked to our first guest. Let me just hit a couple buttons here and bring her in. Let's give a nice Co-Video Live TV welcome to Kim Biggerstaff. Welcome back, Kim.
Hey Ron, how are you?
I'm doing all right, hanging in there, despite some of the issues with Skype that we encountered on the way. Looking good. Looks like we got it framed up nicely. Good audio. Everything's ready to roll. Oh, hold on. Who do you have in the comments here? Jessica Roberts is on board. Amy Hill, I think, again, that's her son, Jack. So hello, Jack. Hello, Jessica. And hello, Kim. What's going on with you today? How you hanging in there?
Hanging in day by day.
Today is the first day back from spring break for our children at St. Michael's School, right? So back to e-learning and back to the homeschooling, right? How'd that go for you?
Uh, okay, can't complain. We did a little bit more activities outside today, so that was kind of nice since the weather was nicer than usual in the last couple of weeks, I should say.
Right.
We were outside, drawing with some chalk, just trying to be outside. That way the kids can be a little bit entertained and not have to be all indoors.
Exactly. Anybody doing, what have I seen on social media? A dance party? I don't know how that would go over. Somebody playing music, calling it a dance party or a properly socially distanced dance party in the area. Somebody was DJing on their driveway. Any of that going on in your neighborhood?
No, I can't say that I've seen a DJ in our drive and anywhere anybody's driveway nearby.
Right? Anybody, did you hear anybody howling outside your window? I had a Facebook group that said howl at 8 p.m. local time. I'm too busy doing the
No,
show. Nothing going on there either?
I must not be a part of this group.
Oh, maybe I could send you the invitation. Crazy group of people. I can't say I've done
Yeah.
it. I haven't done it yet because I'm tied up here, so I don't know when I'll squeeze that in. Maybe when this whole thing is over. So
That's fine.
first day of non spring break. Were you guys supposed to go somewhere for spring break? I forget. Were you leaving
We
town?
were, yeah. I mean, we were supposed to go to Florida to Fort Myers, but just to get to on the beach, kind of a little warm weather. But of course, everything we had to cancel it.
I saw that the state of Florida I don't know how they were doing it. I should have researched a little more, but they were restricting the entrance into the state. There were too many people driving down there to get away from wherever they were.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I believe that. People think that they can just drive down there at least to get to some warm weather. So, that was a big thing that they had problems with. It happened before. Well, technically, what was it, college spring break? So they had a lot of college students out there for spring break. So,
hmm
if it wasn't for this, of course, I would have definitely have gone. But we knew that they were going to close the beaches, so it wasn't really worth even spending, any money just driving down there, or
hmm
just be stuck indoors.
Yeah, I know, and it's right of them, I think, to try and control the spread of this damn thing. My guest who was on yesterday, his parents are in Italy, and part of the problem they had there was that people were leaving the northern part of Italy where their cases were pretty high, and then it's starting to spread around the whole country. So people not
Yeah,
staying home.
for
So
sure.
you, in your spare time, and when you're not at home, you find some time to work. And last time you were on, you talked a little bit about what was going on at work. You work as an emergency room nurse, correct?
I do.
All right. I was curious what had might have changed or what might have been going on differently since we last spoke.
You know what? I think so far so good. We in regards to all the supplies, I think that we do have the supply that we need for now. They are being a little bit more strict in regards to, how many masks we should be using per day. But again, we try to just use it wisely. If we're able to reuse certain things, and we reuse them. But of course, if we're considered contaminated, then we discard it appropriately.
hmm
So we're fortunate enough to say that we do have enough, gear as of now. It's just I think they're just looking out for the weeks to come.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I don't know. I assume you check this stuff, and maybe you don't. But I was seeing some things either that nurses had posted on Instagram or other social media saying they're being put into some real situations through either the lack of supplies, the work environment that they're in, or the decisions that they're having to make in the care of people who are critically ill, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have not had to encounter something like that in regards to caring for, patients who are confirmed positive, or, we're treating them as, a COVID patient. In the emergency room, we're going to do everything that we can. I know that there's been speculations in regards to like what happens after they're confirmed. I don't think that our hospital has encountered that situation where, we're thinking to not, for example, resuscitate the patient because they're considered confirmed a COVID patient.
Mm-hmm.
I've not encountered that. I know in the emergency room, obviously there's some people that are going to be a little bit more hesitant to go into the room. Of course, we're not going to ask 10 people to come in and for something like that. How usually we have more than enough staff to help us when we have like a more serious situation.
Mm-hmm.
But with something like this, we just try to make it to the minimum if we can. So instead of seeing 10 people per se, you're going to see maybe 3 people, just because we don't want to expose that many people, for something like this.
How about the visitors or the people that are there? You still have the day-to-day stuff, the fractures, the automobile accidents, the accidents of all sorts. And are you restricting in
Okay.
any way the number of people that are allowed to come into rooms or to be
Yeah,
there?
so actually, as of now, I think many hospitals are on board with this. There is no visitors. So if you're coming in for pretty much anything, if you're not a minor, and if you're not coming in for either, stroke-like symptoms, or of course, if you're coming in as, cardiac arrest, then we will allow like somebody obviously to speak on your behalf.
Hmm.
But if you're coming in for, if you're over 18, you're coming in for fractures or belly pain or any other thing, there's no other visitors. So, it's I know it's an unfortunate situation, but this is just the only way that we can kind of have it controlled. Less people coming in and out, and less people in the waiting room.
Less people coming into the building overall, too, right? I mean, if you are admitted or if you were there for something completely unrelated, heart surgery or something that was done deemed important and non-elective, no one can come visit you. Is that true, or limited, or no visitors for hospital
So I
patients?
mean, so again, I'm in the emergency room. I can't speak on behalf of the entire hospital. I
Okay.
know, of course, we always make different circumstances, but I can tell you from what I'm seeing, no, we're not letting visitors come back. The only time I can think that I can say again is if somebody comes in as altered mental status and they can't speak on their behalf, or if there's a minor, of course.
Right.
Um, Other than that, there's no visitors. So a lot of people don't really understand that. It's grandma or grandpa, or mom or dad. Sometimes it gets a little hard for them to understand that they can't come back, but it's just for the safety of everyone. So, one thing that we are doing though through the entire hospital is any doctor, any nurse, anybody that's coming into the building that's working, or even if you're that one visitor that we do allowed,
Hmm.
we are screening just like you did earlier in the video. We are taking their temperature.
Right. Right.
So, now we actually have to wear this little green little sticker on our, chest here, and it says the date and our temperature, and the time that we took it, only because if anybody has a, technically a fever 99.5 or over, they are not allowed to work.
Right. And that is tested at the beginning of a shift, or what was it? How often?
Beginning.
Beginning of a shift. So,
Yeah.
right.
Hmm.
Right. Hopefully, over the course of 12 or 16 or 18 hours, what are the longest shifts that they're expecting people to pull there lately?
Just we do 8, 12, and sometimes 16s, of course.
Hmm.
So just depends on how the day is. If it gets really busy, sometimes we just have to help out. It is what it is.
Right.
That's what we're here for.
I know. So you haven't had any problems with acquiring supplies. Do you know if anything if was donated, or if the hospital had to go out? If you can speak to that, if
Um,
anything had to be scared up or out to the open market, or other than normal means for acquiring this kind of gear.
Yeah, my understanding is I know that for our hospital, we were able to get a shipment in. Again, though, they're being very selective on regards to how many they're putting out, because they want to make sure that we have enough for the upcoming weeks. But I
Mhm.
do know, when I was there, we actually had several companies that came in, nearby companies, and they donated some, which was amazing. Just to see everybody come together, the community come together, and to offer these free things to us just so that way we have enough. I mean, it was in regards to there was respirators, there was regular masks, there was gloves. People have been donating all kinds of food for us. I mean, it's been pretty amazing
Hmm.
to say how the community has kind of given back to us in regards to us needing equipment.
Good. That's really good to hear. I hadn't really hadn't had any idea. I've been hearing a lot of bad story. I mean, you hear it out of New York. The big, they're on TV a lot, hearing
Yeah,
about significant shortages of personal protective equipment or the equipment, ventilators and whatever. It just doesn't sound like something that I would want
yeah,
to be that kind of work environment. I could see why people are showing their gratitude because we're all very
yeah,
grateful for
for sure.
that.
Yeah, for sure. I just think that, in regards to New York right now, and, God bless them, they're just in a whole different ball game than we are right now. I mean, they're, the amount of people that they're seeing per day, it's extreme in regards to what we're seeing here. I know recently I was on Facebook and I seen a young lady that was in Michigan, which is not too far from us, and she posted something and she was in tears pretty much posting in regards to just the equipment and the shortage. And recently she posted another one and said she had to quit her job because of it. So that's just, it's very frustrating to see that, because she was there, she wants to help, but she had to sacrifice pretty much her health. And that's why she ended up coming with a decision to quit, because she's like, she can't take care of people when she doesn't have the proper equipment,
Yep.
and then have to come home to her family and take care of her family.
Yep.
So that's a very tough decision. I hope that I don't have to ever do that, because my heart is in the emergency room. I love what I do. I love my entire staff that I'm working with, and it's something that I would never want to be put in a position, in regards, because we don't have enough equipment.
Yeah, I think we saw the same Instagram post there from the young lady there in Michigan who was talking about that. Quite a scene as it was being described. So
Yeah.
how are things other than that though? Besides the work environment on the home front, how's everyone holding up being locked down?
They're okay. I mean, today, especially, I think it was a good day. We did a couple things outside. I
Hmm.
actually made them help me with some yard work, pick up leaves. They didn't really like that, of course, but
Right,
hey, garbage day, we got to help. Let's get this done. So if they're going to be around, they got to help me. That's for sure.
right,
So,
right. Understood. All right, Kim. Is there anybody you want to say hello to that's out there?
no, just again to my hello to my SMS family. We miss you guys. I hope that one day we can get back together and have another gathering. And of course, everybody stay safe. Keep washing your hands, soap and water. I know
Yeah,
there's a huge thing in regards to this hand sanitizer, you guys, but it's very effective. Just soap and water, soap and water.
doing the basics, and of
Doing the
course, stay home as much as you can. Stay home more
stay
than you think
home.
you can. Right.
Yes, stay home. Yes, my daughter actually is having a virtual sleepover today, which, hey, whatever. So our internet usually cuts off at a certain time, and she asked for me to extend it because they're going to have a virtual sleepover. So
All right. All
told
right.
her, that's fine, I guess.
Being creative use of the technology. Well done.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right, Kim, I appreciate you coming on. I can't believe it was almost 2 weeks since you were on last time. Hopefully we'll have you on maybe before then again and check in with you and see how things are going.
Awesome. All
Hopefully
right. Well,
well.
thanks for having me again.
Good news from you. Thank you very much, Kim. Take care.
Take care. Good night.
All right. Guest in, guest out. Perfect. All right, we're going to put the logo up here and bring on our second guest. If everybody can just stand by for just 1 minute. All right, and we are back, and hopefully everything worked out pretty smoothly there. I need to get some intermission music going there. I'm really gun shy about using copyrighted material. Maybe I can put some Scummy Fish music up there, something that I contain have 1/4 of the rights to. Hello to Mike Harmon. I see, bassist from the Scummy Fish. Hello, Smo. Finally watching live. Welcome to the show, Mike. Cassie Smolin's there. Boy, a lot of Smolin. There's my mother-in-law, Mackenzie Kyleman, and Suzanne as well. Smolin. Let's keep it going with the Smolins. What do you say we bring in our next guest here? Let me just hit this button. It should work. All right. Hello, Natasha Smolin, my niece. Welcome from Seattle, Washington.
Hello.
All right. Hello. All right. What's been going on in Seattle? We spoke a little bit yesterday just to kind of catch up. What's keeping you guys busy over in Seattle?
Not too much. Not too much. I know I have to thank Anna and TJ, her husband, or Anna, my sister, and TJ, her husband, and the Fabella family for getting me addicted to Animal Crossing. That's been getting me through.
I don't know what that is. I know it's a game, but what do you do? Is it literally like Frogger, Animals Crossing Roads, or what?
No, it's kind of like Sims. Did you ever play Sims?
Yeah, I was an original Sims. Yeah, at circa 89, I think. Yeah.
It's kind of Sims, but with cutesier characters
Right.
on a Nintendo DS.
I think I may be able to dig out and dust off the floppy disk that I have the original Sims on. I could probably find that 5 1/4, 5 1/4, whatever the big ones are. Remember? Anyone? Old people out there? So Seattle, yesterday we tried to have you on, but I was preempted by family game night. No, actually you said, I'm having a game night. I don't know if I can do it. I'm like, what are you doing? We're supposed to be isolating here. Who's involved in this game night? It turns out it was your parents and your sister and your brother, a virtual game night, right?
Yeah, and I think that's probably one of the things to come out of this, if we're trying to look in the positive side of things, is I've lived in Seattle for the last, I guess, over 3 years now, and all my family's in Indiana, and this is the first time that we have done something like a virtual family game night, just because of the ideas that were out there, like, oh, someone's like, oh, go on Zoom and download this game, and it was really nice just to kind of get together because I always feel left out. They play Gloomhaven on a board in my mom's kitchen or dining room table, and it's all blocked out. And I always feel a little, left out, stuck in the Pacific Northwest without them.
What was the one where you build the trains across? Anna and TJ, your sister Anna and her husband TJ, they're big on games and group games. What was the one with the trains? Trans something?
I think that's Ticket to Ride. No,
I forget. Always fun. They always had something new. They must be suffering through. I know the show is about you, not about them. But they must be suffering because I know they like to entertain. They've really got their feet underneath them in party throwing. They learned a little bit from watching their uncle, but they must be taking it hard, not being able to get together with people and play games, and you as well.
Yeah, I think they're focusing their energy on doing some renovations to their house and doing some DIY type of things.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm focusing more of my energy on the cooking and baking side of things to try and keep us busy.
Because there's no work to be done in a brand new place for you, correct?
Yeah, I just bought a place out here in December. The walls are pretty bare if you can't tell from behind me, but slowly trying to fill it in. Little by little.
Right. Baking and cooking in the area, we have a problem with flour and yeast. So are you finding it in Seattle?
Luckily, we had some prior to because had some big aspirations to bake and make some breads and all the cookies. But then life happens. But now we're stuck inside. And of course, we have all the time in the world, and apparently I can sell it in the black market if I need to, if it gets to that point. But
you just lower the bags down in a basket, bags of cookies or something, down a rope or a string down to the street level, and then pull the basket back up with money. Is that what kind of operation you're talking about?
Or I can just sell the yeast that people are looking for.
You don't even have to waste the time. Yeah, no kidding.
Like Clorox wipes.
Oh gosh. And TP, I hope that's not a problem for you over there. You've been working from home, right? I presume as well.
Yeah, that's been really interesting as well because everyone in the Seattle area, if they can, are working from home and the streets are just barren. What it used to be super bustly and you could always go outside and do some good people watching if you wanted to. Now it's just barren and maybe there's a couple of people walking their dogs, but other than that, it's just everyone's holed up in their homes.
Is it safe to say that Seattle was one of the first communities in the country that went to that work from home, encouraged people to work from home after, right? Wasn't it one of the first major outbreaks?
Yeah, I think all the companies out here, basically, as soon as we had a confirmed case,
Hmm.
very quickly after that, everyone has said, do what's best for you. If you can work from home, go work from home. And I think the next day, I ended up still going into the office because I had a couple of meetings that I wanted to finish in person, but everyone was already gone. It was empty. I think there's like 5 people on my floor
Hmm.
when there's usually maybe 75 to 100.
Hmm.
So it got pretty crazy.
And now, complete shutdown, open-ended shutdown for most places. Your employer saying, "What? We'll let you know. Just stay home. We'll let you know." Or is there even any kind of
TBD.
inkling of when that would occur?
No, TBD.
Right, to be determined. Excellent. So the cooking, the baking. I'm getting hungry for. I ate quickly, very quickly. That always seems to be a problem. Getting to the studio in time. Ate quickly. I got some for dessert in mind. What do you got there after dinner? Oh, it is your Pacific time. What are you cooking for dinner first? What do you got in mind? Are you picking up?
Oh man. I'm supposed to go grocery shopping tomorrow, so you're catching me on the worst day because I'm having instant ramen tonight.
Instant ramen. So when you do go shopping, do you get scanned for your temperature, or do the automatic store? I assume Seattle, progressive. You don't even see. It's not a problem going to a store 'cause you don't even see people. You do one of these stores where you load your bag up and walk out, right?
Well, no, that's the only place where we do see people now, and thankfully it's not too crowded. In the beginning, it was super crowded, but now they even have like tape on the floor to mark when you're like waiting in line to check out, like 6 feet apart and everything. I'm not sure if that's everywhere, but
Yep.
it's the only time you actually kind of get to see people, and it gets really busy, and the stock or the all the walls and the shelvings are 25% full, and it's a weird place to be now.
It is weird, and I was talking to my mom, your grandma, about it, and but a couple weeks in, and you're probably a little bit ahead of us, it becomes normal. You kind of forget. You have to remind yourself, this is effed up. this is this is not normal. You start to get used to it, and I just wonder how you would describe it to people, future generations. What would you tell them? How was it? What was it like, Natasha, to some kid in 2030 or 2040 or whatever from now?
Yeah, I was talking to someone about this before of what is the new normal after this? Because obviously it's not going to be like this forever, or one would hope.
Hmm.
And start to think, but what kind of still remains? Are people still going to do this general social distancing? Just because I'm so much more aware of germs now than I ever was before. And like never once had I ever like taken a sanitary wipe and washed like kind of cleaned my keys off, but now I
Right.
do it every time I see one.
Right.
And so it's just going to be interesting kind of what this new dynamic is of if in 30, 40 years, if I'm telling someone about this time, is it really going to be that weird for them, or is that just kind of our new normal of like, oh, you were just extra careful instead of careful?
Or you were there at the beginning, and so what? It's
Yeah.
now. Yeah, so what? Yeah, I was also wondering, not to end on a down note or getting close to an end on a down note, but whether this would be an annual thing, a 5-year thing. Is this kind of a drill for something that's going to happen regularly? Nobody knows. Nobody
Yeah.
knows, but why it could be a possibility. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, I was getting near the end of my list of questions for you. I don't even have a list. I work off the cuff. Is there anybody that you wanted to say hello to before we wrap up? We're getting close to 8:30-ish or so. Anybody you want to say hi to, friends, or anybody back out this way, maybe even?
Well, hello to the fam that's watching or should be watching the co-video. But yeah, hello to all the family and friends that are out there, all the Smolens and Chayas and extended family, everyone that's out there.
Excellent. All right, take care of yourself out in Seattle. Thanks for joining us and giving us a little bit of a Pacific Coast perspective on what is going on. Appreciate having you on. It's good to see you. Oh, and belated thanks for entertaining my daughter and her cousin who were out there well before this all happened. It was a pre-COVID thing. Had us a little nervous when cases started popping up in the Seattle area, but everyone's come out clean. That was well over a month ago already. So, but again, thanks for entertaining them. Thanks for entertaining our worldwide audience here at Covideo Live TV. Hopefully, we can have you on again sometime.
Yeah, of course. Let me know. You know my number.
We got the sky. We got the numbers. All right, let me roll off the audio and hit the guest out button. Bye, Natasha. All right, with that, I think we're going to wrap up our show here now. Hopefully, we see some quality improvements. Earlier today, I invested in upping our internet package here, so we got a little better upload speeds. Again, it seems to be getting strained by the number of people that are playing games as a community, or FaceTiming, or video conferencing with grandma or other relatives. But hopefully we held up a watchable broadcast with good video, good audio. Just want to say as a footnote here, I heard something funny today. I was helping somebody out with some live streaming needs and advising them on some of the gear that they might need. A piece of equipment that I suggested they buy a couple of weeks ago is now extremely difficult to find. And in fact, from a manufacturer, they said this particular video streaming device is like the hand sanitizer of the video market now. They're hard to get, 2 and 4 weeks out. Little inside baseball for you, but it just gives some idea on how heavy people are starting to get into home streaming, live streaming, people with ideas like me. I feel lucky that I had begun acquiring this stuff before the whole COVID-19 crisis pandemic hit, and I'm able to provide some content like this. I take it seriously, and I intend to continue to do it daily. And with that, I hope to see you then all tomorrow for episode number 15 of Co-Video Live TV tomorrow night. I promise we already got some good guests lined up. We're promising an action-packed week. Look forward to seeing everybody then. Until then, take care, be safe, please.